Let's get the ball rolling, folks. For those of you who don't know, I am Jason. This is Savage Mind Podcast. It is my podcast. It is just me. No, I haven't went anywhere. I have no fucking plans of going anywhere. Sorry to disappoint some of you. This is me. It's still just me. That is changing soon. Not going to get in that again today. I feel like I put it out there enough. It's coming along. This won't be where, again, I've said it in multiple podcasts, this will not be where we do all the podcasts when I finally get to start talking to people again. My podcast, it'll be a conversation with whoever's on, if it's one person or two people. I'm always going to try to, as that starts to develop, I'm going to try to keep it no more than two guests, where there's three of us at a time. Most of the time it will be one. So whether you call this a podcast, whether you decide not to call it a podcast, whether you call it me just talking, whatever it is, that is your right. That is your choice. It doesn't make me any difference. But progress is progress if it is 0.01%. And this goes for fucking everything. So great weather here in Texas, and it's been fucking changing constantly. Again, not the weatherman. I always talk about it because I love fucking great weather. I love sunshine. I love the beach. Haven't been in a while. Again, that's going to be our next part-time home until it's permanent. Can't wait. And I think in the last month we've had every fucking season in this time of year in Texas. That's exactly what it is. So today's a fucking beautiful day. The high was like 56 this morning. The high was like 71, 72, not a cloud in the sky. Got a lot done today. A progressive day. And that's what I always strive for, is progress in each area of my life and what's important to me. Strive for progress, not perfection. So, I'm closing the gap on not being as far behind. When some of these responsibilities get off of my plate, again, life is about responsibility and about, I guess it depends on how you live your life and what your priorities are. For me, I have a lot of shit to do, and it's also too because I do it mainly all myself. So I'm ready for some of it to be alleviated, and hopefully that will be happening in the next year or so. And, you know, I know people that's done a podcast like mine, and you've heard me talk about this in this podcast community. Whatever you think of this is or isn't. People I met 5 years ago in this community, most of them that I knew, that I've only met one time, but we're and to this day, we're still on social media together. Everybody that I knew that I met when I started this podcast, all were 15, 20 years younger than me, different goals, but we all had our own vision of what we wanted it to be. Nearly every one of those guys, which I call them bros, because even though we've only met one or two times in person, I think they're cool ass dudes, and they're pretty helpful as well. They all had I feel like great podcasts, and 15, 20 years younger than me, and for whatever reason, they're not doing it anymore. None of them. Some of them are doing something different related to podcasts, but they're not doing it together no more, because all those podcasts that I remember, there was all two people. They had a duo, a team. And I wasn't caught up with all of them, but I was sorry to see it. Unfortunate that they decided not to do it anymore. Maybe they'll pick it back up. So I even had thoughts in these transitions that, as I've mentioned, you'd have to go back and listen to other podcasts. The situation with getting off Spotify about 9 or 10 months ago, because they changed the criteria on their platform and their requirements. And I decided not to do all of that right now. So it got me off of Apple Play and Spotify, which that was my biggest platform, which messed with my subscribers again. Some people like listening to Spotify. Some people like listening to the Spotify Apple Play platform. Don't want to see the video, want to listen to it. Other people would rather be YouTube, want to see put a name with a face and see how we look and whatever it is. Each to their own. But I really wasn't, well, because I chose not to do it. I just went straight to YouTube. I already had a YouTube channel. It's nothing what it should be at all. I've even found myself on social media a lot less the last year or so. And I tried to do the posting more on all the platforms, clipping stuff. You got to spend more time doing it. I know, and maybe it's an age learning curve. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm just not a technical guy. I'm not interested in it. I'd always rather be outdoors. There's always something I'd rather be doing, but I love conversating with people, real people, not making small talk, conversations. And in the meantime, what I've done my entire length of my podcast all these years is talk about my own personal life, my own experiences, my own journey, and different topics that are important to me, which is some of these same topics I will be talking about with other people. Not necessarily when they're my guests that it's going to be my agenda, but some of these same topics with the people that I know, whether I know them personally, they're an acquaintance, or we network on social media. But it's easier to spend more time and dedicate the time to social media in the platforms, whether it be podcasting, whether it be personal trainer, because I've been a personal trainer off and on for years as well. You got to dedicate so much time to it. And for some people, it pays off. I find myself doing it less and less, and I'm still putting in just as much work on everything, if not more. And I'm just like, I never, in my mind, I never think I'm going to get to a point as an influencer or anything where I'm going to be, that's all I'm going to be able to do. My goal, and always has been, always will be, no matter what anybody thinks or how much I even doubt myself sometimes. I don't doubt what I'm doing. This is anything. This is my ultra running. This is my family. This is my journey. This is our mission. This is living at the beach. This is any of the things, impacting people, talking to people, speaking, whatever it is. A pile of book notes that I haven't organized yet. Whatever it is, my goal has been and always will be is to do this for a living. Didn't say how much, didn't say how successful, didn't say it would be lucrative. It said do it for a living and be able to make a living doing what I love. That will never fucking change. But to be able to take the time to be on social media that much, maybe when some of these responsibilities of this house and other things, and I don't work a 9 to 5. Well, I don't work 9 to 5, but I still work a 9 to 5, whatever that is. That could be 7 to 3 for some people. That could be 7 to 7, whatever it is. I still have a full-time job and a number of other things to do, responsibilities. So most people, the truth, anything you work on, whether it's your side hustle, whether it's you got to, whatever it is, each individual, whatever they're, something else they would rather be doing, whether it's a food truck, whether it's cooking out of their house, whether it's personal training, whether it's writing a book, whether it's podcasting, whether it's doing something with cosmetology, hair, remodeling, whatever it is that you want to do. Most people, there's people out there with a lot of talent. There's people out there that have the drive and ambition. Even if they don't have the talent, listen, hard work, ambition, and being relentless and driven and fucking consistency often, most of the time, outweighs talent and experience, because that will come with time. There's a lot of people with talent who don't use it. And most of the time, between the work life, the grind, family, if you have kids, paying fucking bills, upkeeping a fucking place, just all the responsibilities go with it, fucking grocery shopping. If you have a house, mowing the yard, cleaning up, cooking, whatever it is, everything takes a back seat to that shit. No doubt. No doubt. And it just ends up being your fucking life. No doubt. I mean, and for most people, including myself, most of my life, plan B or plan C ended up being our life. And it shouldn't be. We'll talk more about that in another podcast. So, last day of March 2025. I think I'm about 2.5 weeks off. Oh, let's see this. Thought I was done with that. Just try this. Just one. You know, I always got a drink unless it's in the morning. I'll have coffee or my energy drink or water. But not when I'm done for the day. Day I worked, didn't have to work a lot of hours. Worked for what I had to do, my job. No running today. No training far as my running because I have an ultra next weekend. No, I have an ultra in 5 days. Whew. I'll be doing a podcast after that. I have another ultra trail race. This is the first one of the year. First one in about 6 months. I feel like I'm fucking ready. All right. Yeah, I'll stick with my mimosa. So, yeah, I'll be leaving Friday for that. Be back on Sunday, be recovering. The podcast on that will probably be a couple of days after that, I'm sure. So I'm technically only about a week off. So I want to talk about this, man. Something, again, I might have a podcast in my head and a topic I want to go over that'll be fresh on my mind, and I'm going to fucking do it that day or then within the next couple of days. This is what happened again. And then 4, 5 or 6 more days went by, had a couple of the grandkids, spent time with them, did this, started working outside, started back on another fucking project I've been working on forever, went to work, trained, went out to eat, cooked, cleaned. Before I know it, another 4 or 5 days are gone. Got home early, then get home fucking late, exhausted. I don't try to be busy. I try to fit everything I can into the time I have. I plan my week every Sunday for the next week. And then depending on what happens or how it starts out, I make adjustments as I go. Plan your time, people. It doesn't mean you have to be in a rush, but plan your time. You get more out of life like that. And then it changes. I'll be on a run or I'll have a conversation with someone or something else will pop in my head. And I feel like that at that time, once I start thinking about something else I feel like is important, then it starts stirring on me. It just churns. And so I want to talk about this today. And I'm like every fucking podcast, I'm sure I'll leave something out and not cover something. But usually I get done with the podcast, listen to it the next day or whatever it is. If I'm working, I don't do it training. I won't do it while I'm running or training. But if I'm driving or working, which is with what I do full time, I drive a lot. Yeah, I'll listen to it. And, you know, again, whatever it needs to be, people critique it, criticize it, edit. I'm not doing none of that shit. No fucking censorship, no editing, none of that shit. It is what it is. We need more of this shit. We don't need more fake. We don't need more censorship. We don't need more editing. We don't need more watering down. We don't need more fluff. We don't need more soft. If it feels like a fucking attack on you and that you're not the fucking target, it's something you need to fucking fix. Same for all of us. And I keep circling back to this subject for the last week or so. And I could just say people. There's podcasts I've done in the past specifically talking about women, mothers, fathers, men in general. So today, I could say broken people, but I'm going to stick to men. And if I sprinkle some other stuff in there, it's no offense to nobody. Because who I have in mind are particular men. How many of y'all know broken men? Not broke financially. Being broke financially can be fixed. How many of you are a broken man? How many of people you know don't know that they're broken because they're getting up every day and going through the motions of life? Excuse me. They're existing. They're functioning, but they're not living. You hear people use this term survivor. There's so many terms I've heard throughout my life that I have a different definition of it now. There are there's real survivors, cancer survivors, any kind of disease that people have made it out of, abuse, no doubt, especially cancer and anything like that. That's got a remission. Thank God, because it takes people's life every minute of every day. Seems like every day they have a new one. So many people I know have that I have lost that I knew, even if it's not directly related to me, that we all lost because of that. Sometimes people are survivors with other things. They call themselves survivors. But sometimes if you're a survivor, you're still the victim. Sometimes people survive shit, but they didn't recover. Just because you survive something doesn't mean you recovered. It doesn't mean that you have your shit together. It doesn't mean that you're stable. It doesn't mean that, and again, some people say, well, it ain't going to happen overnight. No, nobody said it's going to happen overnight. But going around calling yourself a survivor on whatever it is, not cancer, God forbid, anything like that. We're talking about whatever it is, whether it's abuse, whether it's addiction, whether it's bad relationship, whether it's mental or physical abuse. You know what I'm talking about. And I've told a few people in my life that, yeah, you're a survivor, but you didn't recover. You still haven't recovered for whatever it is. And sometimes it's just somebody's whole fucking life. I was thinking about how many broken men I know. And most of them don't see themselves as broken. They don't see a problem with how they are. Maybe they have the conversation with themselves, by themselves, when something happens, or when they're alone, or when they're depressed. No fucking doubt, it's fucking real, man. Especially with men. I've talked about this in past podcasts about men and depression, and most people know this, that the statistics are 2 or 3 times higher for men and suicide and taking their own life and depression than it is women. All of it matters. All of it matters. Everyone, men or women, children, anybody, everyone matters. I'm just kind of targeting men today because I was thinking about men in my life that I care about, and some of them I love, that they've gave up in life. I want to set the tone because I want to talk about this in another podcast. Chime in. This is just only going to be on YouTube. Again, hopefully let me go back for a minute. Hopefully I'm back on Spotify and Apple as my podcast develops and I start having people on. I start going to them, doing a video podcast from wherever they're at, or they come here. Hopefully by the year I've been off. Hopefully I'll be back on by the time I've been off a year. And hopefully then I can split all platforms and it'll go to YouTube and it'll go to Spotify and Apple Play. But at this point for me in life, it's hard for me to be around a lot of people. Doesn't make me right. Doesn't make my mindset any better than theirs. Doesn't make me any better in any way. There's just a lot of people I can't be around. And total opposite end of the spectrum sometimes, far as north to south. And I'll cover that in upcoming podcasts. I just want to talk about this today and set the tone because I need to get deeper into it. And I don't know how long it's going to take. When you start talking about depression and broken people and broken men and people who have gave up and just get up every day and it's just a fucking struggle to fucking get going. And they can't wait for that same habit. They can't wait to do that same routine. They don't even know it sometimes because it's fucking familiar and it gives them a sense of normalcy. It could be their fucking relationship. It could be their job. It could be an addiction. It could be how they feel about themselves, how they look in the mirror. It could have started in childhood, carried on to adulthood. Maybe it didn't happen in childhood and it just happened in adulthood. It could be job, relationship, significant other, whatever that is, family, parents. It could be all of those fucking things. And most of these people self-medicate. not like this. Not like this as a way to get through the day. Not necessarily all these people have addiction problems. I'm thinking about two people I have in mind right now who I love dearly. Still my two best friends in the world. And I hardly have no connection with them at all. No big falling out, anything. This, again, people, this has nothing to do when we talk about progress or success or leveling up, all this shit. Yes, it doesn't feel good it doesn't feel good to struggle. It sucks to be broke, trying to make ends meet. But yeah, money's important. But if money is the goal, money's always going to be the goal. And the reason I always go back to that, because I feel like that's what most motherfuckers are thinking about. Which is this. There's a lot of people, men I know, that on the outside, this is a fucking lot of human beings, especially Americans, just in our day-to-day life. And maybe it's you, maybe it's your brother's sister, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your significant other, maybe it's all of you. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's a classmate. You don't have to say, well, I really love this person, to be concerned about them. Identify it as, hold yourself accountable. Have real conversations with yourself. But I can't be around them. I check on, one of them I don't really talk to at all anymore. No, there was no big falling out. Nothing happened on my end. And they didn't do nothing. That particular person didn't do nothing to me either. I love them dearly. It's hard. This is why I'm going back to the money thing. Progress isn't always money and material things, because there's a lot of people I know who look real good on the outside. They have a nice home. They have a decent looking family. We got to quit identifying success as what we have, necessarily how we look, what we can obtain materialistically, how much money we make, our status and popularity. Because how much proof do we have to see that is not directly related to happiness? That link is not directly related to it. In a nutshell, if you have enough money, whether that's something you inherited, someone gave it to you, you just landed, it worked out for you in life, or you earned it. And look, earned, not given. Everything. You know if you earned it or not. Anybody can make progress materialistically in money, as far as buying a home, a car, any kind of toys, if you make enough money. A lot of times that's a cover-up. More times than it's not is a cover-up. To look, well, how would they be unhappy? Look at their house. You like to be rich, just doing well, according to society. Nice house, nice car, good-looking kids, or decent-looking family. Whatever. Everyone has different taste of what they consider good-looking, whatever it is. And even if you're not, like, well, they're doing well. They got a decent job. They got a good job or a good career. Insert where necessary. Some of these people are exactly that. And then some of them are not that. Their whole life looks like this. And some of them are not on drugs. They're not. And it's hard to watch. There's a list of people I can't be around. And I'm going to go over that. But when I go over that and talk about every category of person that I don't care to be around, or at least very limited, and I keep them at a distance, I can't dissect each category in one podcast. Just me talking about it. So the thing is what I thought about was, since I have some particular people in mind, I thought they talk about broken men and men who gave up. And here's the thing about broken men. Most of the time, you can look right at them and tell they gave up. You can hear them talk, watch how they speak, look at their habits, their demeanor, their body language. It's nothing to do with money. How they dress doesn't even mean it has anything to do with how much money you spend on clothes. I don't spend a lot on clothes, but I know how I feel like. I'm a confident man. I know how to. It doesn't matter. I could spend $20 on a pair of pants, $20 on a whole outfit, and a pair of shoes. Cost me $40 out the door, and I feel confident about it. One of these broken men I'm talking about could spend $200 on everything they have and still feel like shit and still look like shit. It's a fucking choice. They can't seem to get out of it. The devil they know is better than the devil they don't know. It's easier to stay in the misery. But oftentimes they don't know they're miserable. No one's abandoning these people. But it seems like after a while, you just can't reach them. And I want to talk more about this. This is not a very long podcast. Usually my podcast is 30 minutes to an hour. And sometimes I jump to the next podcast before I get to part 2. I think that would give you a reason to tune in. Touchy subject. Some people will watch this that know me, that know I love them, or we're acquaintances, friends, know each other through other people, or we were like fam. We really have been a part of each other's life for a long time. They'll think it's about them. And just like a lot of my podcasts, not my problem. I put it out there. I speak the truth. I use my own experience and what I think and what I study. When we feel like it's us, it's something we need to fix. A lot of things in this society can be contributed to broken people, broken men. And that shit's passed down a lot of times, generation to generation. Just like fucking a lot of things, it just bleeds and poisons everyone around you. Even if these people, these particular people I'm thinking about, there's a handful of like 10 people I'm thinking about, but right now in my head, it's like 2 or 3 of them. They're likable people. They're likable men. People like them. They're nice guys. You know what I think about that? And we'll talk about that. To do anything to please someone. They don't want anybody mad at them. For the most part. Cool with everyone. Go with the flow. Ruffle no feathers. Make no waves. And that's the fucking problem right there. And that's why they don't have no fucking respect by anyone. Is it too late for them being in our age, give or take? It's never too late. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's get further into this and let's keep talking about it. Broken men. Again, not saying I can't spend any time with them, but I have to limit my time with them. Again, it doesn't have no effect on me now. There's hardly anything that has any effect on me. But these people are being honest, they're not my level of discipline. I've tried to help them. And 2 or 3 of these people I'm thinking about are closer to me than almost anybody in this life. And it's hard to watch. The more disciplined you are, the more patience you don't have for people in situations that are not. Even if you're not forcing it on them, you're not shoving it down their throat like everything in this society that most people do. It's just hard to tolerate because you understand that it's a fucking choice. Let's talk about it more. Savage Mind Podcast.